Hello, hello, and welcome to New World Aeternum Weekly Episode 23, Roadmap. Hell yes, I am excited for this conversation. So, I am your host, Kai Zen. I'm drinking Dragon's Milk, ice cold. And I am playing New World as we speak. With me today, we've got the crew. Let's start with WOLFDRAGON. WOLFDRAGON, say hello to the beautiful people and tell them what you're drinking.
Hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. I am being super boring because it was a late as hell night last night, so I have a vanilla Coke.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. And we've got SWORDSMITH. Say hi to the beautiful people, Sword. Tell them what you're drinking.
Hello, y'all. I'm playing New World as well, and again, going boring with a Diet Orange Pepsi.
Hell yeah. And we've got Ark. Say hello to the people. Tell them what you're drinking.
Yo, I have been drinking whiskey and beer all day, and now I'm drinking water, trying to recover.
Right on. Okay. So let's see here. There we go. Let me just make a little adjustment to the sound there. All right. So this week, played a decent bit of New World. I am 324 item level with some stuff that we're going to do today, and then with doing basically just my dailies tomorrow, I will be 325. Every last slot maxed out, pegged at 325. I'm ready for it. We had some interesting stuff come up with regard to they did the get together talk the talk, and they had a lot of good bit of stuff about the March update, but they also had roadmap stuff, which for basically for the year they were like, okay, in the spring we're doing this, in the summer we're doing that, in the autumn we're doing this. They had sort of breaking it down, the stuff that they're going to be introducing over the next many moons, and there was some exciting stuff in that. So we're going to talk about all that today. Why don't we start going around the table? What all did you guys do in game this week, and then we'll hop into the roadmap stuff. Sword.
All right, well, I have gotten my nice gear score up to 622 on my raid set. It's a
Nice.
little bit lower at 620 for my PvP set, but
Okay.
still grinding along, doing the dailies, getting the gypsum and turning them into umbrals. It's pretty basic and pretty low-key.
Right on. Wolf.
Caught up to gear score 605. Still looking for weapons to come out of Lazarus instrumentality, but huge buff that I got, which was fantastic, is I had that 562 smooth bone ring, and I had the expertise sitting at 599, and I got a legendary 600 smooth bone ring, and immediately upgraded it to something like 617 or something like that with the umbrals that I had in my pocket during that expedition. So that was super nice.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Very cool. Art.
Yo, yeah, I think I'm at 620 with my bruiser set, and then all my other DPS sets are sitting somewhere around 607 or 9.
Okay.
And that's all I've been doing is playing PvP. That's it, just constant 15 OPRs a day or dueling.
Right on. Right on.
That's it.
Okay. So we've had a couple of new people join us over on Pluto. We've got let's see here. I'm trying to, off the top of my head, I'm trying to make sure I get it right. We got Day Spirit and Sophiera has joined us, as well as Jexrax is still leveling up his thing. Brittany is, I don't know, like level 50 or whatever. We've had some of the people that were newer that started that, late, that are leveling up. They're continuing to catch up, and we've had other people that have just joined us new, and we ran a couple like mutators and whatnot with Sophiera the other day. So yeah, good stuff. We're excited as things continue to pick up. If you want to join us, you can get over to Pluto, North American East. Pluto is the server. We are on the Marauder faction, and we are the Black Sky Legion company. Just like we're the Black Sky Legion Discord, etc., etc. Black Sky Legion for the YouTube channel for the show. Now, I have created, I'm in the process of creating, you have to wait for it to verify. Sometimes it even takes like a week or two, the accounts and stuff, so that the show will be put out in audio-only format. So those of you who like to listen while you mow the lawn or walk the dog or, drive to work or are on the bus, you will be able to get this as a podcast-only version coming up without having to have the whole YouTube component of it. It'll be everywhere, just like all the other shows. So that's in the process, and I look forward to continuing to sort of take off with things on that. But let's get to the update. First off, before the update came, there was patch notes for the March patch, basically saying they fixed the issue where every time you log in, all of your like just randomly, all of your pins for your this mission, that mission shit was just pinned. They fixed that.
Hallelujah.
There were a couple other things, so that all should be now. Obviously, those were patch notes only for the PTR, but obviously, when the thing drops, that'll be coming out to everybody. And then it was just a day or two later that they posted on Thursday. Was it Thursday? Yeah, it was Thursday or Friday. It was Friday, where they posted the here's the whole thing. Here's here's our big talk for the month, and also here is our roadmap for the coming months. So let's just go around the horn. Let's start with, say, Sword, Wolf. What was just from the whole talk of all of the new stuff that you were excited for? What did you think? What stood out to you?
So right off the top, and I think it's a lower key for at least us here on the high pop Pluto server, but I think this is probably the single most important thing that they announced in the roadmap, and that was the collective instancing across multiple servers of instance activities, specifically dungeons and OPR. And I think arenas are also involved in that too.
Yeah, the arenas are a thing that they announced is coming in the roadmap, and that it's coming, later in the year.
For instance, the Siren,
there's that you're talking about. I thought you were talking about the 3v3. Okay, yeah. That, yes,
but
absolutely.
The ability for people on a low pop server to queue up with people on other low pop servers,
absolutely,
for things like OPR and dungeons, that is absolutely critical.
To be clear, not just on other low pop servers. Basically, the ability for everybody to cross up and to queue up and have that be cross server is just going to be a huge boon to everybody for sure. In addition to that, the idea of, they talked about that they're done with the free server transfer tokens, but they're going to be putting it on the store server transfer tokens, and that they are also working on cross realm server transfers. So North America East if you're on North America West, say, for whatever reason, and you want to come play with us in North America East Pluto, you can. If you're on Europe and you want to transfer over, you can. I think that is also a huge important thing. What are some of the other things that you guys saw on there that you were like, and anybody just pop in? We'll just do this real casual.
I've got a list.
Go for it.
The solo expedition thing that they want to consider doing sounds fantastic because, you know, not everybody can get a group going and whatnot. So it'd be interesting to see how they can make that happen.
So just to clarify, they've talked about the fact that they want to increase the freedom for solo players to be able to take part in certain aspects of activity. They also, to be clear, this is not down the road. This is a happening end of March. One player in a group can go and unlock the instance, and it'll just like send everybody else up to the dungeon. You don't have to do the 3 people there. So there's 2 important upgrades. One that's happening immediately, and the other one that they're saying they're working towards figuring out something for down the road. As well as, and this was a huge thing for me, because you've heard me gripe the whole time saying, I do not like the dungeon orbs. I don't like this key system. I just, it's unfun to me. And they've said, you know what? We feel like it's not that fun. And I was like, what? And they were like, yeah, we're not ready yet, but we're working in the future towards making it to where you don't need that key to get in, but basically the dungeon orb will like do something to maybe buff the drops or something like, but in the future there is at least in concept, they want to have where everyone can just run dungeons without it being gated, but that, you know, you'll get they want to have some value add out of the orbs or whatever, but it's like just removing that roadblock to me would be massive. Keep going, Wolf. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
Yeah, so I was going to say the thing about the orbs. That's so nice.
Yeah.
The map sign up for OPR, I know we talked about that before, but to know that that's like really coming, that's awesome because that'll let me go around and do stuff for the various gypsums and be like, hey, I feel like doing OPR here, and we're done with that.
Just to clarify, in case people are like, what is that? They're making a change, and this is not a someday thing. This is locked for, it'll be there in the end of the March update, which they haven't announced yet, but spoiler alert, guys, it's coming on March 29th. When that happens, you will be able to, from the world map, you can just click, like under the escape, you can hit, there'll be a thing that'll say modes, and you can sign up for war, sign up for invasion, sign up for outpost rush from anywhere in the world. You don't have to go to where the location is. And also, that modes indicates that with, like I said, the 3v3 arenas and the other modes, other outpost rush, other PvP, other arenas, other things that are coming in the future, they'll all be collected there where you can just sign up for anything anywhere. Keep going, Wolf. You're doing great.
Other things that we have that look like a great call. Moving while in your inventory screen so that you can keep doing stuff and not having to stop and look at your own face and then turn around. That sounds like a great way to be able to bounce between various consumables and whatnot. And there's been times when I wish we could do it.
Hell yeah.
The equipped items, only the ones that you are equipped are which takes damage. You know, that's an old thing that we said that we didn't like so much in a couple past shows, especially early on. It's like, you know, especially with you running around with so many different things, it's like, and you died. Now you have no repair parts left because you had to repair like 3 or 4 sets of armor and things of that nature. So that honestly is going to make me walk around in PvP all the time now.
Yes. That combines a couple of things. Number one, they've already stated that it's not coming right away, but they know they need to have different gear sets. So you can just click and say, here's my mining set, here's my tank set, here's my PvP set, here's my maybe dueling set, here's my harvesting set, here's my armor crafting set. So that is coming. That is already confirmed by them that it's going to be a thing that they're working on over the next year or so, or whatever. It's not coming this month, but it's coming. In addition to that, yes, as you said, only the gear you have equipped takes any damage upon death of any kind whatsoever. To me, the second that comes out, which is March 29th, rather, I honestly don't see any reason to not be PvP flagged 24/7. Like, yes, don't be PvP flagged if you're going to church and you're trying to deal with, your topaz and your obsidian, because you have a specific goal that you're working towards. Although, in theory, if you plant a camp right outside, then that doesn't slow you down all that much. But, like, other than that, I feel like everybody should just PvP flag 24/7. Because it's like, oh, I've got 5 sets of gear on me. Who cares? It's only the gear you're wearing that takes any damage. Have fun. Let's hang out with our wang out. Go ahead, Wolf. You had more?
Oh yeah. Salvaging is gonna get some sort of rewards coming in the future.
Yes.
We're not gonna see that at the end of the month, but it's gonna be, you're gonna get more than just like repair parts and maybe a chance at getting the gem out of a thing, or some sort of ingots.
So they
and
said
some cash.
so-
It'd be nice to see something come out of that.
So to be clear, how that works now is if it's gear that you picked up in the world, i.e. a drop or dungeon loot or whatever, you just get repair parts and a token amount of money. If it's stuff you crafted, you have a chance to get the gem. You have a chance to get some of the building materials used to make it back. They've said, hey man, we realized that salvaging is kind of a little meh. It makes you feel a little like, oh, I wasted all that stuff. We don't know yet what, but we're going to, over the next several months or whatever, figure it out. We want to add more to that. We want to make it so that when you salvage gear, you feel like you're getting a little more out of it. Now, absolutely pro tip, if you're salvaging stuff you already made, right? Like, I'm salvaging shit, like I made just 900 necklaces because I'm leveling up jewelry crafting. Throw on your fishing set, and or if you have a healing set, just basically throw on any set that has focus enough to get you over to focus 100, because that gives you a boost of like 20% to the stuff that you salvage. So you get more mats back. But what they're saying as a company is, hey, we at Amazon Game Studios acknowledge that right now when it feels bad when you have to salvage, like, ugh, I got these 10 pieces of gear. They're actually kind of decent, but they're BOP, so I can't sell them. And they're not stats that for a class I want to play, so I can't use them. So I salvage them and I get basically the absolute minimum back. We want to do something to make it a little more fun, to make it a little more of a whatever. In other games, basically what you have is you have your gray vendors. In World of Warcraft, whatever. I get this. I can't use this. I can't sell it to other players on the market board for whatever reason. Like, it's just not going to sell. But I take it to a gray vendor and I get something for my whatever. And they want to basically up what you get back from that. So, yeah. Do you have more, Wolf?
I do.
Go for
it. Now, I'm not one for decorating a house.
Okay.
However, apparently there's going to be some collectible paintings you can get in every county.
Yes.
And you can put them up in your house, I'm guessing, and have a pretty window to look out, and then beside it you can put up a pretty picture to look at something different. That sounds fantastic.
Coming on March 29th. This is not a in the future thing. This is they've already got it done thing for this patch. March 29th, there will be 2 easels in every county. You click on it and you paint the painting. If for some reason you lose it or whatever, like, I salvaged this painting, I threw it away, whatever, I need the painting again, you can just go back the next day and get it again. It's just unlimited free paintings. And yeah, so that you'll get that March 29th. That's very, very cool for people. I am the same way as you, Wolf. I decorate the house with trophies and with storage chests. Don't give a shit about the rest. But I know, for example, our dear friend Brittany, she is like, oh, look, I made this kitchen and I want this living room this way. And look at the couch over here and the light comes in over there. And I'm going to put a painting over here. Yeah, lots of people who like that shit are going to love it. Keep going.
And my last point, and I'm going to tee this one up for Art because I'm certain he is going to have some thoughts and joyous exuberance over this one. The 3v3 PvP arenas with progression rewards for doing PvP and being good at it.
Yeah.
Not my deal, but I know it's Ark's deal.
So
I bet you he's going to have fun doing that.
So just to be clear, that is not coming March 29th in the March patch. That was part of the roadmap stuff where that is, I think that was set up for autumn, like either summer or autumn. That's a thing that is coming where there's going to be, number one, PvP arena modes, and they specifically called out 3v3 first, but I think you're going to see it continue to expand in multiple different flavors. And number two, new and interesting sort of loot progression tracks that are catered to the PvP side. So think more stuff for Outpost Rush, more stuff for 3v3 arenas, more stuff for other modes of PvP coming up. They're going to make it to where you can progress your character through PvP as well as PvE. And I think, as you said, that's a perfect time to bring Ark in. Ark, what do you think of that? And add in, after that, more other stuffs that you saw that you thought was interesting in all this.
Well, that's super cool, man. Obviously, it's going to change the way that everyone starts to play together, like dueling, and especially with the multiplayer dueling, it's going to have a lot more meaning now. And it's good. You need a little bit more than Outpost Rush. I play it, 15 times a day most days, and it's fun. But it's time for something more. And I think it's going to be cool. And I think it's going to sadly detract from wars. I don't think people are going to be as interested anymore. But I think it's going to be huge for just the game and just on its own.
As a side note, and I'm just going to make this comment and then turn it back over to you, but they did also say they want to have, and this isn't coming up end of March, but this is a later down the line thing. They said they want to have other modes of war and whatnot that are like more sort of practice modes or something, so that it's like you can basically cross Outpost Rush with a war, so that it's a war, but like you don't lose territory or whatever. It's not run by the governor, because we know there's so many things with regard to the war and invasion system where it's like if you're not the company that owns it, a lot of players don't get a chance to ever play that shit. And they're saying, hey, we're going to add in ways of like practice modes of wars or whatever where everyone can take place. And now I'm turning back to you. Yeah.
That's a good thing. I mean, it's super toxic right now, really. I mean, it's not even to be in the same company. I mean, in our server, for example, we got two major companies and, and one purple and one in yellow, and green's kind of weird right now. But you get into wars. We were just talking about this a little earlier. You get slotted in wars based off of your top 10 performance in OPRs and dueling. This is how you get into wars. It doesn't matter companies anymore, because the same dudes, like literally all the wars I fought now, the same dudes are in all the same wars. It's the same dudes. Like you go up against every time we're fighting somebody, it's always, whether it's green or yellow, it's always modern. It's always the modern, same dudes, and they just swap around, and our own dudes will go fight for some green dudes. So you got the best, like the best 50, let's just say 30 of them are on almost every war, and it's just sad. And I think having a game mode to just give other players opportunities, and having a mode also, like you mentioned, where you could have a war simulator essentially, where it's just maybe rankings. Then people will start playing Outpost Rush the right way, because like no one's capping anything. Even though that's going to give some points, I don't think the points are going to be significant to caps to still raw damage you can put out. But we'll see when that's all weighed out. But it'll just give you more opportunity to play the game as the way they're meant to be played, versus as some kind of like casting couch to try to get in a war.
And let's be clear. Let's be clear. we're not blaming the governors and the companies who currently select their rosters based on very specific factors. Like, we're not blaming them for it. It's not a matter, like, of course they're going to want to try to min-max their shit and maximize their opportunities for winning and success and whatnot. It's more a matter of calling out the fact that absolutely AGS, Amazon Game Studios, as the makers of this game, need to provide ways that everyone can collectively experience all of this stuff, and they've acknowledged it themselves, and they've said they're working towards making ways to do that, right?
Yeah, no, well, like I said, the 3v3, like, I don't know how they're going to fix the war thing, but the 3v3 is going to give more PvP opportunity. And what's cool about it, just to kind of reflect on that part, since that's what we were talking about originally. I mean, there's so many cool, like right now in a duel, right? You're looking through your abilities and skills to try to create burst or escape or snares, whatever, just to defeat your enemy against whatever set, loadout they're bringing in. Now you're going to be in a position where you're measuring up three people's versus three people's, bursts, snares, and how they collaborate, just like it was, in ESO, just like it was in WoW. Now we're finally getting to, to some legit PvP play. So I think there's going to be plenty for people to do and think about more. Hopefully they get those loadouts put together, because more loadouts will be coming up now.
And to that point, there's times where in an outpost rush, you can do everything right, but you round a corner, come in, do everything right, but it's you versus 8, and you're just fucked. Like, there's no way that cannot be true. But with the 3v3 arena type, you have a chance to showcase your skills in a sort of, for lack of a better word, sort of fair setting of it's R3 versus your 3. I should never find myself in a 1v9 situation. It's a little more even playing field, and it's just like, may the best man win.
Yeah. And I can tell you, like, recently I've been playing on the Siege team, and the Siege team's really unique in Wars, because you really do feel like you're already in this 5-person, not 3, but 5-person team where you're really playing off one of each other's skills. For example, someone has a musket void gauntlet and they're boosting the group. Somebody has some CC in case we get caught by somebody. Somebody has some AoE, and everyone's constantly working together, and you're not even in the same chat with everybody else. So it's an interesting dynamic, and I think that's what you're going to get to see with 3v3s. You're going to see these interesting dynamics where you create these synergies with 3 to 5 players. Because maybe you have some spares or whatever, but 3 players ultimately for the match. But and just your comms, how you complement one another's builds, all that's going to matter. It's really, really fun. So I'm stoked about it, man. Honest Broker, I haven't, like, I posted that thing to our thing when I saw it to our Discord, but I didn't really look a whole lot into it. Just busy last week traveling, but that thing caught my eye for sure, and I'm stoked about it.
Right on. What else are you excited for?
Well, like, I'm just excited for the state of the game. I mean, I'm glad to listen to us. I'm glad they decided to keep Wars 50-50. At least that's the way it's looking.
Yeah.
Because that would have just made even less players get a chance to even play. I'm glad there's new content coming up. I'm interested. Like, I really want to. I'm not really attached to the story here, and it's sad because I think there's a lot of opportunity for that.
Let's talk
I
about
want to get to the story.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. In the upcoming patch that hits March 29th, they've introduced a new dungeon, which is whatever, the Heart of Madness or whatever, and it's what previously was been referred to internally, and it was found in leaks and whatnot. It's been previously referred to as Isabella's Lair. In that dungeon, which you can play right now on the PTR, and I'm going to be very careful I'm going to be non-spoilery as possible, because I want people to have the opportunity to experience it themselves for the first time. But let me tell you something. When you run that dungeon, a couple of things are clear. Number one, Amazon is upping its game on the story. And here's what I mean by that. In that dungeon, there are multiple cutscenes. And at the end of that dungeon, there's a big cinematic cutscene. And it is, many of us players have been saying, like, hey man, yeah, the story's okay, but like it's literally just text-based, and you have to kind of, like, half the people have no fucking clue that it's there because they're like, yeah, click, click, click. I don't want to see these pages. Just give me the bonus XP, give me the bonus whatever, and then whoosh, I'm out. By having these sort of animated, cutscenes, and then by having this big cinematic cutscene at the end, they're really upping their game with regard to how the story works, how the, like, making people, like, Final Fantasy XIV specifically is so vaunted for, and so whatever for, like, their cutscenes are amazeballs. It's half of the time when you're playing the new expansion, you're like, half of this is me playing and half of this is just me watching a movie. And I mean, going back to the gamer days of, like, Metal Gear Solid that was so famous for its cinematics, gamers sort of fucking love that. They love the story stuff. They want the opportunity to skip it later, like the 19th time that you're running this dungeon, you don't want to see the whole thing. You want to be able to just pip past it. But the first time, you fucking really want to see that story, and they're doing it. They're really upping their game with regard to not making it just text-based, read the story, but really showing you a cool story in a visual, auditory way, which I want to salute wholeheartedly because that's fucking amazing. What do you guys think of that?
I love beautiful cutscenes. It adds an element of, to use the term that we've thrown around in other games, immersion. It gives you a feeling that there is more going on than you just hack and slashing through the game, and it gives more to the story by having a bunch of visuals to go with it than just reading the text or listening to an NPC tell you what's going on for the next mission.
Beautiful.
Sure, we're gonna skip through them, but I'm gonna watch them a couple times, especially if they're really well done.
Hell yeah. Wolf's Arc?
That was it. That's, like you said, that's the storyline coming up, the new content coming up, just a roadmap. Knowing exactly what's coming down the pipes was a good idea. And yeah, I think it's pretty clear. The game's in it clear. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw, Asmongold and a couple other content dudes. They invited those guys to play the dungeon.
Yep.
That was just another great marketing, concept.
Yeah, Asmongold, Shroud, Danny, one of the lead of the content creation team that made that dungeon. Yeah, you had them do it together. It was amazeballs. Yeah.
It's just good marketing, man. These guys are listening to everyone. They're listening to the community. We all thought the Blunderbuss was looking a little OP. Looks like they're going to tune it down some. I mean, they're doing all the things you might expect someone to do.
And of course, like, even saying that, I'm sure, just to make it clear, you're not even really calling that out as like a huge negative. Every new game, the new weapon, the new thing is always OP. But the fact that they are I don't want to say nerf. They're equalizing it with other stuff. They're literally, it started off in the patch PTR way overbalanced, and they're nerfing it, not nerfing it like to the ground. They're nerfing it to bring it. It's still a little too strong, and it's still going to be like legit. There's going to be a meta. I think there's going to be a fucking blunderbuss hammer meta that's just going to rip people to shreds. But like, they're bringing it more in line with other things, even pre-release, which is good. What do you think, Sword?
I like it. And full disclosure, when we first did the Dynasty Shipyard, I had no clue who Isabella was, so I wasn't quite sure what the big deal about that boss was.
Yeah.
Because I never visually identified her.
Okay.
I just never made the connection.
Okay. So
I think this will definitely help.
So basically, this new step towards making things, because they're very clearly, they've stated, and now they're doing it, that they're going to up their game with regard to not just the written tech. Like, let's be honest, the story of this game is super rich, super great, super awesome, super in-depth, and all text-based in these pages that are everywhere. And what they're saying is, we want to continue that, but we want to also incorporate cutscenes, voice acting and good animation and whatever to really highlight the depth and richness of our story. And that I think everybody here is super, super excited for.
100%.
Go ahead.
One other thing I'd mention that while we were discussing balancing of weapons like the Blunderbuss, I know the devs are still looking at the Void Gauntlet. And
yes, they called that out specifically. You're right. They said, while we're talking about balance, our Void Gauntlet is still OP. And we need to figure out something we could do to kind of bring that a little within realm of everything else. Because what they said they wanted with the Void Gauntlet, they wanted the Void Gauntlet to be debuffs and like side heals. And what they're finding is that it's also the king of CC, and that wasn't intended. So they're going to nerf the CC aspect of it while they try to maintain the strong augmentation to healing and buffing, debuffing side of it things. They want it to play in classic D&D terms. They wanted to play more of the bard position of buffs, debuffs, and augmenting heals. They don't want it to be the king of crowd control. I want to call out another thing, and this is coming March 29th. It's coming in 10 days, and it is the biggest thing, honestly. Like, new dungeon, I'm super excited for. Making better story, I'm super excited for. The transferring loot around from storage chest to storage chest and doubling the loot in houses, God knows I'm super excited for. But honestly, and this is a thing that can be missed if you're not actually in it. It doesn't sound like it's that big a deal, but let me fucking tell you, as a player of the game, this is the biggest single deal for me. They are making it to where there is a universal reset at 5 a.m. and for the daily reset, and weekly reset Tuesday at 5 a.m. Let me tell you why.
That.
Let me tell you why that is so very, 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 very 10 times more the word very important. As it stands now, I have a spreadsheet that says, and I'm not even shitting you, I could put it up on the screen. I have a spreadsheet that says my emerald gypsum once a day from trade skills, my ruby 2 a day gypsum from OPR, my amethyst from breaches, my topaz, my obsidian, my sapphire, my citrine, my diamond, my faction gypsum, my woodworking, leatherworking, weaving, smelting, stone cutting, topaz, potion cooldowns, my bonus faction cooldowns, when I've bought my and or made my last gen keys, when I've bought and made my mutator keys, when I've crafted my keys for the arena, so the siren and the guy that looks like fucking Taxodius, like all of that I have to keep track of. And every day, if it's like, oh well, last night I got home late and then I had, whatever, I had a date, oh I had to deal with my kid, oh my wife needed me to whatever, oh I had fucking extra work stuff, oh I was watching a movie, I went to go see Batman at the theater, so I got home 4 hours late. I have to keep track of that, because tied to that is the next time that I can do my gypsums or my crafting or my whatever. All of that is going away. As of March 29th, the way that it works is there is a universal reset at 5 a.m. So if I do my arenas at 10 p.m. the next day, or like one day, I could do my arenas at noon the following day. Doesn't matter. If I did my church, topaz and obsidian, or, oh crap, I can't open these juniper bags yet because I won't get the diamond because it hasn't been 18 hours since the time that I did it yesterday. All that, gone. All that dumb shit, gone. Just, when can I buy my keys? Well, that's on the weekly cooldown. So you can get it, 5 a.m. on Tuesday. Or when can I buy these keys? Oh, those are on the daily tool down. So you can get it tomorrow at 5 a.m. Like, it's just, that removes so much headache, and that removes so much of, I want to go do church, so topaz and obsidian and diamonds, and I want to go with my friends to do it. Ark can do it because he's on the right cooldown, but Sword and Wolf can't yet. Sword can't do it till 2 p.m. Wolf can't do it till 8 p.m. All that shit, gone. It's just, yes, you can do it every day. It resets at 5 a.m. Doesn't matter if you do it at noon or do it at midnight. It resets at 5 a.m. so you're free to just play whatever you want, however you want. That's fucking massive. Everybody, give your thoughts. I gotta run downstairs and get another dragon's milk. I've gone through 3 beers.
I've got to say that I completely missed that they were putting in a universal reset timer for those dailies. The number of times that, like for Sword and I, at work sometimes runs late, and then we get screwed out of being able to go in a group to do church and knock it out in, say, 30 minutes, and it can take me by myself just running around smacking everything 50 minutes of the total hour you get for that topaz potion to get all 10 topazes. And by the way, while I'm doing that, I maybe can get in and kill Ivan once or twice and hopefully get an obsidian, but I still don't get the, hey, we're gonna go do this. We have, 3, 4, hopefully 5 of us. We rock Ivan. We kill him however many times it takes to finally get all 3 of those damn bags, because that, man, the drop rate on that is no fun. But it's an annoyance, and it takes away the fun. And like, you know what? This is an easy fix. Click. Now the fun returns. It's like every single time they realize, hey, we want to choose fun. Let's go the Hello Games method and give you the fun. It is so awesome.
Completely
Sword, Art,
agree.
what do you guys got?
For instance, I don't do anything on purpose on Friday so that Saturday morning I can actually have cooldowns ready to go when I get on, rather than having to wait till 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah, this has been needing to come for a while now, man. Because nobody, again, when you have a game it's an MMO and it's meant to play in groups and together, and a lot of the content, especially for the gypsum stuff, is designed that way, so that you have to play together. Sirens, dungeons, things like that. So you don't want everyone to be on a different cooldown. That's just ridiculous. So
Yeah.
it's a good move. I'm glad they've done it. It'd be much easier to collaborate now and play with other players, and it's just one less stupid thing you think about, because I've seen Kai's spreadsheet.
It's a nightmare to look at if you don't know what it is, and then it's like, oh, this makes perfect sense, and this takes the headache out. Well, guess what? Now the headache just doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, so
Fantastic.
as of March 29th, when that patch drops, that spreadsheet just gets retired. Because actually, it won't get retired because I'm crazy, but it'll basically just go from, instead of having to put in the time, it'll just be an X. Did you do it today? Yes. It's a binary. It's 1 or 0. Did you do it or did you not do it? You don't have to keep track of when you did it, because that's irrelevant. You can do it today at 5 p.m., tomorrow at midnight, the next day at 10 a.m. if you have the day off of work. Like, it's all just easier. Speaking of, they basically, another clear thing that they've done, and this doesn't benefit any of the 3 of us, let's be honest, but it benefits everyone as a community, so it does benefit the 3 of us. They've gone through and they are making the process of leveling up much, much easier. A lot of people started this game and they didn't have the dedication to it that we did, or they didn't have the group, they weren't a part of a company, or for whatever reason, a lot of people started this game and around level 30-ish fell off. They were like, and they didn't come back. They've already doubled in the February patch the XP that you're getting from your like doing the quests. They've made it to where you can teleport around easy peasy. They are doing other things like they're adding in they're adding in Stinky the Hunter in places in like Weaver's Fen. They're adding in Great Cleave. There's these Yetis that you can fight for extra stuff. They're adding in Raffle Bones in various different zones where you can get extra XP, guaranteed named legendary like loot for your level ish. They've added in all these extra stuff. They've added in Roadside Encounters. Now, Roadside Encounters has two important parts. Number one, if you're an actual player, that's like bonus. It's a cool, fun, weird little fight with extra good loots. If you're a bot, that fucks you over hardcore. Roadside Encounters were used in other games. I think ESO had them, and I'm trying to remember what the other one, where they had it to where it was like random events could pop up at times that you couldn't sort of program a bot for. It was too much for the bot. It would kill the bots while providing cool loot opportunities for the non-bots. If you were a player that was level 23 and a roadside encounter popped up that was level 27, it wouldn't kill you. You could just go, oh, fuck this, I'm out. I cannot handle this, and run away. But the bot didn't have that extra layer of intelligence and would kind of try to do its pre-programmed route and would just get smoked. So, like, there's benefits to the players while fucking over the bots, and I'm here for all of that. In addition to that, they've said specifically, the first weekend after the March patch comes out that introduces the Blunderbuss, they're gonna do a thing which is gonna be cool, and that thing is this: they're gonna do their first of more to come, double XP weekend. What does that mean? If you are leveling your character, if you're a level 35, and you say, hey, I want to play, New World for 8 hours this weekend, through all of that 3-day weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you will get double XP. Now, they already doubled the XP permanently, but you'll be getting double that. So you'll be getting 4 times the XP for that 3-day weekend to help you catch up to level 60. In addition to that, if you have quests in Ebonscale that are level 60 plus, those will grant, starting in the end of the March patch, so March 29th, they will grant Gypsum for that, so you can use that to get Umbrals and to upgrade your expertise. In addition to that, now you might be saying, I'm level 60, what the fuck do I care? Well, they introduced a brand new weapon on March 29th called the Blunderbuss. And for that double XP weekend of March 29th, for those 3 days, not only will you get double XP if you're leveling, but you will get double weapon XP for the Blunderbuss. That's fucking cool. It's fun. It's an event. I think we're going to see the servers fucking get pounded all weekend. People are going to be filling up every goddamn server and having fun playing New World, and I love it. What do you guys think?
Absolutely. When that thing hits live, I am gonna give it a shot because it does have a strength tree, and I'm a bruiser. Strength and con. Strength is 300. Con is whatever the hell I can get, and if it's something I can use and it mixes well with my play style, it might not. Who knows? But I won't know unless I give it a fair shake. And this will give me a chance to just max it out pretty easy and go nuts with it. And hey, give us the new toy. If I like the new toy, I'll keep playing with the new toy.
I have to correct myself from earlier. I had speculated that what we were going to see with the Blunderbuss is that the one tree was going to be the strength tree and the other tree was going to be the int tree. Turns out I was just wrong. And I'm going to admit to it. In seeing it, it's not the strength tree and the int tree. It's that the entire weapon, both trees, but the entire weapon scales off of strength as the primary and int as the secondary. So both trees will be available for you, Wolf, to play with as a bruiser. Okay. You're going to see some people who build it that still will build it paired with int for caster types, but I as a strength user, you get the primary level up stat. This is a weapon that is geared specifically to you to mix with any of your strength-based bruiser builds and or strength-based tank build. Yeah. What Sword and Arc, what do you guys think of this?
So I do
Yeah.
have one.
Yeah, good.
I do have one thing that I have to think about as a musket
Go for it.
primary user, especially in OPR, is it looks like it'll be using the same cartridges as the musket, which means that at least, and Greg, I've already stated something wrong here. It doesn't matter in OPR because we have unlimited ammunition in that. But out in the open world where we have to worry about ammunition, if I'm using those premium rounds, I'll start to have to think about if I'm using both the musket and the blunderbuss at the same time, I'm using double the ammunition theoretically.
So not quite double, because the fact of the matter is you're going to find that your musket uses ammunition at like 5 times the rate as your blunderbuss. But yes, it is a thing. But in addition to that, with this patch in particular, they made that ammunition have no weight and stack up to 1,000. So at the very most, you're going to be using 20% more ammunition, and now it weighs 0, and you can stack it 100% more. So I think you're still ahead of the game on that. Arc, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think on the event, it's really good. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be leveling maxing that thing out too to match all my other weapons, and I think there's going to be some interesting utility, especially in wars. So I think it's a good thing. It helps players get caught up. That's the biggest problem in this game. There's a huge gap between the far end and the far beginning. And I love this weapon because I think it's a unique weapon that is going to allow it's going to shake the trees up a little bit, to shake the metas up a little bit. We'll see how it goes. In my mind, I'm imagining a bunch of light armor, hammer, and freaking blunderbuss dudes running around just causing all kind of problems. So we'll see how it goes.
Did we get your input? Was that when I was down getting a beer? Did we get your input on the change to the the daily reset thing?
Yeah. No, I chimed in.
Okay.
Really good. And for a game that wants people to be collaborative and play together, you got to help sort that out for players, and I think that's what's going to help do.
Hell yeah. All right, so I'm gonna just open this up for like open forum before we close out the night, the show. Let's go around the horn. Anything at all that? Well, actually, let's do this in two phases. First, let's go around the horn and say, what do you still want? And here's from me. Here are the things that are still to me like little things that niggle at me that I'm like, I really wish this. I really wish that. Number one, I've stated it repeatedly. We want loadouts. They've heard it. They've already acknowledged it. They said they're working on it. It's just not here yet. I want loadouts. Number two, I so very much want them to implement, like I was so gratified when they said this week on that show, like, man, the keys are just not quite, they feel not fun, and we want to make them fun. So we're going to move the keys over from a you need this to get in system to a this will give you some kind of extra bonus system, but like you don't have to have it. Huge salute. That is a huge thing for me. I will say, with regard to the February patch, they said with the Topaz Gypsum and the fucking Obsidian Gypsum, they said, like, hey, we're making this to where it can drop, like, back to back. It can drop super fast. You could get it, there's no timer minimum on the Topaz, and there's a 3-minute down from or a 5-minute down from a 10-minute minimum, whatever, on the Obsidian. Let me tell you something. Either A, they failed in doing that, and in which case I need to call it out, not to shit on them, but to make sure that it based on a lot of the things we've said have been fixed, and I don't want to get too big ahead about it, but they said again in this thing, hey man, we're listening to our content creators, we're hearing things that you're calling out, and we're making changes to fix that. And I don't want to get too big of a head on myself because maybe it's just that other people are also saying it, but I need to say it so that it's said out loud, that it hit the community. The February patch made so many things better in this game. It did not make Topaz and Obsidian any better. I don't feel like it made it any worse. I don't either nothing happened or you upped X value, downed Y value, and the result was a wash. But let me tell you, as a person who does Topaz and Obsidian every day without fail, 625 gear score, yeah, that didn't get any better. In fact, I would say Topaz stayed the same. Obsidian got 30 to 40% worse. Here's why I say that.
Yeah.
We used to do Topaz and Obsidian together every day up at church. We would do Ivan and the Ghost and the wolves and whatever, but mostly Ivan and the Ghosts. Ivan would take 20 minutes and you'd be done for the day. The Ghost would take 45 minutes to 50 minutes and then you were done. Sometimes, you know, I feel like they made little changes to make it a little bit better. Towards the end there, it was only taking about 30 minutes a day and then it was done. As it stands now, Topaz still takes the exact same 30 minutes that it used to. Obsidian takes longer. Obsidian went from taking 20 minutes to get it done every day to, on average, 40 to 45 minutes to get it done every day. So Topaz has more or less stayed the same when you said it was going to get so much better. It was going to get unlimited better. I had dreams when the February patch hit that are like, hey man, we're going to get our Topaz in the first like 5 minutes of just killing ghosts, and then we'll just go inside and knock out Obsidian in, you know, whatever, 10 minutes and then leave. Topaz,
so nice.
Topaz takes the exact same time it used to take. So when you said you were turning it from a 5-minute cooldown to, or 3-minute cooldown to a no cooldown, you could get them back to back. I have never gotten them back to back. Topaz takes the exact same amount of time. Obsidian takes twice as much time. So it respectfully, and I'm not trying to give you shit, I'm not calling you a liar. I understand this is a complicated thing. You've made some changes. I will respectfully state Topaz has gotten no better. It's the same. Obsidian has gotten 30% worse. So, of the things that I would like to see addressed, like, please take another pass at that. Have your QA people look over the code, have just randomly, have some of your employees log in and do Topaz and Obsidian together based on the metrics that like pull up the server database rules that you had in January versus what you have now. I will respectfully submit that my bet is that your real world testing of this feature shows that, whoops, for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe it's because the implementation was done slightly wrong or whatever, but for whatever reason, Topaz is no better than it was in January, and Obsidian is way worse, like 40% worse than it was in January. Those are the things that I would like you to, you're absolutely right. You say, hey, we're working on a inventory set. We're working on like loadouts, loadout for mining, loadout for harvesting, loadout for stone cutting, you know, whatever. Yes, that's great. I'm excited and I'm patient. If it takes a couple months, no problem. You do you. You're doing a great job. But yeah, that Topaz and that Obsidian thing, your stated goals for February, it failed miserably. It is slightly worse than it was. Wolf, your thoughts on what you want them to look at? What are some other things you'd like? Some, you know, whatever. Oh, and by the way, one last thing before I'm done. The whole thing about the universal reset. I fucking love you guys. You guys are awesome. Keep it up. You're doing such great work. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh god, yeah, that universal reset's gonna be just so perfect. Definitely the thing with the time it takes to get the Topaz and the Obsidian. I echo the thoughts of it. It used to take, you know, not long to get the Topaz, and then, you know, a good while to do the Obsidian, and now it's flipped. It just, something seems to, it for a little while, it seemed to work out pretty good, but I don't think it really ever did what they said it was gonna do. As it is today, we knocked out the Topaz pretty quick. Granted, we had all of us do it. We had some pretty massive pulls with the Ghost going, so the number of bag opportunities was very, very high. But you go off solo and it's not fun. It takes forever. It definitely needs to have a pass to look at that. The only other thing that just irritates me to no end, and I think it's gonna make it into the end of the month patches with the weapon swaps, just so that you're not like I'm having to constantly spam the weapon swap button when I'm in combat to make it happen, and it's almost getting I'm basically at the point of I'm in this fight right now. I'm using this weapon. This is the only weapon I can use, which completely screws the ability of having a second good weapon and a rotation that goes between them so that I can be super effective at knocking stuff out. And it slows things down when I know that on my back, if I've got my great axe in my hand, I've got my warhammer hanging out right there, just ready to smash some shit. But I can't do the swap to do the killing. So that's really my only about the game right now.
I want to state this very clearly, just for anybody who's listening. Amazon stated they did a thing in February to make weapon swapping way, way better, and it worked until it didn't. Amazon stated they are aware that they have a weird, funky thing with regard to a delay with regard to weapon swapping that sucks. They are working actively to make it better. And it is one of the things that is in the March fix. I very much hope that in 10 days, on March 29th, it's one of the things that we see like, oh my God, that's so much better. They did make it better on the swap, but then a different issue popped up with regard to a delay thing with regard to them that kind of fucked it. Go ahead, Sword, your things that you want to see come in.
I'm going to leave what you guys have went ahead and put out. They're all very good. And I want to hit something that we hit a few shows ago.
Go for it.
And it comes down to the reasons for open world PvPing and my belief that this game could be really invigorated by a open world PvP. And if you've got the game or you've got the map handy, I'd advise you to open it up, because in OPR you've got 50 to 60 players. No, it's 40, isn't it?
OPR is 50 to 50. Oh, I'm sorry. OPR,
20.
OPR is 20 to 20 minimum, but it can go up to as much as 40 to 40. It depends. It fills in. It'll basically try to make an even match. Once it gets 40 people total, it'll go, but it can go as much as 50. Yeah. 50, 25 on each side. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, you've got about 40 to 50 players in the area of an island that takes up less than a quarter of one of the counties in this map.
Mm-hmm.
This massive map, I believe, is one of the potentially greatest assets that this game has. And I think a massive open world PvP continuous event, something like you form up a 5-man squad and you go collect something and everybody can attack you as you bring it to another location on the complete other side of the map without teleports for a great reward, could really invigorate the game.
Could I tell you one idea that I've expressed on this show 3 weeks ago, and another idea that I haven't expressed on the show but I would love to see, and maybe that would fit very nicely into your sort of general nebulous concept of we want this. Number one, I would love to see arenas randomly, basically a treasure pops up, right? In each, just randomly every 20 minutes, every hour, a treasure pops up on the map. The treasure is locked. The treasure shows up as an icon on the map. Every player in each county, if you're in the county where that treasure is, you get a notification saying a rare treasure just popped up. It's got umbrals and azoth and fucking dollars and some named item and tons of like skins and iron. It's got star metal and fucking rawhide and whatever. It pops up on the map. It's locked. No one can open it. It says it's locked. It will unlock in 10 minutes. Only people that are PvP flagged can open it. Now, it pops up on the map, and let's say Sword and Wolf and I and Ark are all in that county, along with other players. All of us, all four of us, because we're in that county, get a little pop-up on our screen saying, there's a rare treasure. It's there. And you see the countdown. We see exactly where it is on the map. It pops up on our little HUD, on our compass. And now all of us make our way there. It's PvP flagged, and it doesn't matter for the purpose of this treasure. It doesn't fucking matter what faction you're in. It's just every man for himself, and one person can open the treasure. Opening the treasure takes 20 seconds. And now everybody fucking fight. Last man standing gets the treasure. Everybody else is ass out. That could be fun as fuck. The other thing could be from a PvE standpoint, not PvP, but PvE standpoint. I would love to see, we see these invasions that pop up, and they pop up like, okay, it's going to be at 6 o'clock p.m. and whatever. What I would like to see is when an invasion happens, sometimes you have a new type of invasion. Not the invasions that are already there, just leave them alone. They're fine. Just play them as is. But a new type of invasion start where it says Shattered Mountain, right? Up at Mirkgard, an army is forming. And you can see, again, everyone on the server gets a notice saying, an army is forming in Mirkgard. It's going to leave in 20 minutes. That army starts in Mirkgard, goes through Mountain Home Outpost, like it goes right by it, comes down and goes right by Cleaves Point Outpost, makes its way down to, goes right by Brightwood, comes down, goes right by, say, and then goes like, turns over to like Reekwater. That's its goal. So you actually get a notice on the screen saying, this army of undead or of corrupted are forming in Mirkgard. They're on its way to Reekwater. As they go through, they don't hit the towns themselves or the outposts, because that's going to kill the newer players that are leveling up. We don't want to do that. We don't want to disrupt their game. But it goes right outside of there. And as it passes each sort of checkpoint, it takes on certain other aspects and whatever. And basically, every player on the server at that time sees that there's a fucking horde of corrupted leaving Mirkgard on their way to Reekwater. And you basically have, every last player has a reason to like, hey guys, let's get together, let's stop them. And you go there, and it's special loot, it's special rewards, it's special, you get umbrals, you get fucking whatever. If you kill, one of the, like, say the army has a warlord and 2 lieutenants. If you kill a lieutenant, you guaranteed that you're getting a legendary. If you kill a warlord, you get a token. That token you can take to Mountain Home or whatever, because like that's the place where they're fighting. They're the corrupted. They're the main whatever, and you can buy any. Like, hey man, god damn it, I've done so many times. I've done Laz and I haven't gotten Woda. So many times I've done this and I haven't gotten Infamy. So many times I've done that and I haven't gotten Smooth Bone Ring, whatever. The token, and you only get that for killing the Warlord, just the Warlord. But the Warlord gives you a token where you get to pick which legendary you want. The Lieutenant will give you a random legendary and a decent amount of money. All the other guys there will give you good money, like good money, or good XP if you're leveling or whatever. But like, have a cool event where it's like So two things. One is a PvP centered thing where you fight for loots, and the other is a PvE open world thing where a massive event just spawns like once a day or twice a day, and it's just like, oh, let's go get them, guys. We got to stop them. What do you think of that, Sword?
Completely agree. But the main point is, you've made this massive, beautiful map, and
Yes.
yeah, we spend a ton of time running around it for leveling and so forth. But
Mhm.
apart from that, I haven't been in certain areas of it for ages because I've had really no reason to go there. The last big reason to go around was the Glimmerite?
All right. Ark.
Gleamite.
Gleamite, yeah. Ark, it's your turn to talk to the developers. You got an open forum. You're talking right to the developers. If there's something you want added to the game, what would it be? And it doesn't. There's no limits. You want to make 3 things? You want to make 1 thing? Whatever. Knock yourself out.
Well, I can tell you, I was already complaining to Sword earlier about Ivan. I feel like it's worse. Oh man. Now, like I don't know in terms of what I want. Like I think there's a lot of possibilities. I think I would still like to see one more weapon slop like we talked before. I think there's a lot of missed opportunities just having the 3 an ultimate ability or just even being able to slap one more. I want that. And the other thing I would tell
So-
them to do is
Can I just want to call this out because you're specifically mentioning it. So there's always only been 3 weapon abilities per weapon, but not in the beta, but in the alpha of this game, Arc, it was 3 weapons that you swap from. So you could be a hammer, axe, hatchet user, or you could be a hammer, axe, musket user. Just throwing it out there.
I think it sounds I mean that's cool, but probably a bit ambitious considering like this it still struggles from weapon swapping now. But I mean, just having more. There's always it's a really hard decision to make, and I feel like Elder Scrolls first started to do that really well with just 6 and an ultimate ability essentially. And coming from WoW or SWOTOR, those kind of games, I mean that's a huge degrade. I feel like this one, there's just, if you added one more ability, just one more, it would change, it would add all kinds of different rotation possibilities, all kind of opportunities. That would be huge. And then like the other thing I would just say is they still have to fix the abilities. Like the bow is pretty broke right now. It's not in a good place. It's special, both its special abilities are pretty meh. I mean, one of them requires you to have ridiculous skill considering the drop off and the lagginess and of the bow to get headshots. And the other one, you got to shoot someone in the freaking knee to get a 2-second slow. It's ridiculous. So I feel like what they need to do is they need to look at all of the things. Other trees are in a really good place. I mean, hell, I'm constantly just going back and forth between what I need to what I want to put on a musket. It's got plenty of good opportunities. So they just got to look at that, just because it doesn't matter how many weapons you add into this game. If the stuff you have in now, half the stuff isn't being used. There's a ton like that. So add a new ability slot.
So what you're calling out is that a lot of abilities, the ones that aren't meta, are just so far inferior that it really is, with a lot of the weapons, you only have a very limited amount of choices that it's like, these are the ones that you kind of have to bring.
Yeah, you don't have to. There's a lot of moves that you don't have to choose meta. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of stuff that you're just never, ever, ever going to slot. And I've tried it, man. I've tried wind chill. I've tried, the stupid knee shot. I've tried a ton of things. It's just, you're never going to, there's no place for them really. And the stuff they need to look at and get better, especially if it's an ultimate ability. Like if it's an ultimate ability and it's straight dog poop, I mean, that's, someone needs to rethink that. Like whoever was in charge of the bow, that would be like bad on his resume. Like you had 2 ultimate abilities and one of them is worthless. So I think if they do those kind of things, just those two things right there, it would drastically change the game. It would add up more DPS type rotations for the game for PvE. It would add more burst and escape and different types of rotations for PvP. It would do a ton.
Okay. All right. I want to throw out a thing that just occurred to me as we were talking, and I swear to God, I mean, I've thought about it before, but so, of course, Amazon publishes Lost Ark in addition to creating and publishing New World. So, Smilegate is a Korean company that makes Lost Ark, and a lot of people have been playing Lost Ark recently. And there's, like everything, basically, this is the new meta now in MMOs. Everyone flocks to one thing. Everybody plays and they're like, this is the greatest thing ever. And then 3 months later, everybody hates on it. And this is dog shit. You're the worst. Die of cancer. And then moves on to the next thing. But Lost Ark has some very cool things in it. And I feel like Amazon, rather than, sort of going like, whatever, they should maybe incorporate some of the good things in that. Here's a thing that I would love to see added to New World, and this is a thing that Lost Ark has, but I would just love to see it added. I would love to see us all get the opportunity to get pets. You do quests to get certain pets. Maybe my pet is a rabbit, maybe my pet is a fox, maybe my pet is a wolf. But here's what and now I want to be clear. So some people are like, "Oh, you're gonna break the whole fucking game." Here's what I want the pets to do in New World. I do not want the pets to be combat pets. I do not want the pets to give you an advantage in the fight. You still do all the fighting just like you already do. But what if you had a pet? Say the pet gave you maybe a small buff of like this type or that type. A small dex or small int or small con or small strength. And the pet run arounds and just picks up loot for you. Just picks up loot off the ground. That's its main job, is just pick up loot off the ground so you don't have to. And the side thing that it did was gave you a teeny tiny buff. Now, I want to be clear. Amazon have already stated that as of the end of March, they have a new thing that's coming into place here where when you're out of combat, you get an augmented heal. Like you start to regrow your hit points. Regenerate, that's the word I was looking for. Hit points at an increased rate. And I think that's awesome. That helps many classes other than healer. Healers were always good at this. Hatchet was very powerful and popular because the berserk ability to regen hit points. But there's a lot of classes that, it was rough. But let's say you got, and you could do neat things with this where it's based off of a quest, or even you buy it in the fucking store and it's like a different skin just for looks. But hey man, I want my pet to look like a little fox, or I want mine to look like a little fucking, I don't know. It looks like a little zebra. It looks like fucking Bambi. It looks like whatever. So I spent a couple dollars on the store for the skin to look different. Not, to be clear, I'm not talking about it gives it a functional difference. I'm saying it just gives it a cosmetic difference through the store. But quests where it's like, go run this and that, this one gives you a small heal buff whenever you're out of combat, or this one gives you a small. Now, to be clear, let me make this, I cannot say this clearly enough. When out of combat, not in combat. So I don't want it to be a situation where it provides a in-game buff that oh my god, this is game breaking. But cosmetics, out of combat, small buffs, and just looting shit off the ground. How great would it be if you're running around doing topaz and you just see your little bunny go darting off to the side and you're like, oh, I guess there was a bag over there. I don't have to worry about missing that topaz. How great would that be? And I want to call out Amazon also to say, oh, by the way, while I was complaining about the topaz and obsidian thing, that the rates haven't gotten better, one thing that has clearly gotten better, you fixed it, so for all the community needs to get the fuck off your back about it, is I don't ever have 9 topaz days anymore. You fixed that. And huge salute. I love you for it. You fixed that. That's just a thing that went away as of the February patch. There's never a 9 topaz day anymore. It's all 10 topaz. And I love it. But what do you guys think about the idea of adding in a small little pet that, number one, it's your little animal companion. It's your little buddy. It's a little like, oh, that feels nice. You got a little rabbit, or you got a little fox, or you got a little dog. I got a little brown dog. I got a little fucking baby dire wolf. I got something super cute that I get to play with. And his only job is out of combat. He gives me a little bit of a regen buff or a little bit of a something. And he picks up loot off the ground. What do you guys think? Everybody,
Well,
just
we're
hop in.
supposed to get that natural out of combat health
That's already happening.
regen
Yep.
stuff.
Yes.
So making a pet that does that seems a little
But
okay.
they could be.
Well,
it does.
this is the thing that's doing it, so maybe
Yeah.
it's just it's not quote unquote a freebie, but
Or-
it is a
or-
freebie
or-
kind of thing.
Or it does a little more, or it gives you something else. It gives you
Yeah.
10% extra range on smelling out ironwood trees or cotton or whatever, hemp.
Oh yeah, that could be good.
It's just whatever, some little thing.
But the whole here's my loot minion to go pick up bags for me. Money. Give it to me now. Give it right now in the vein. I want it. Having to run around, it's like, oh, I dropped a guy over here. Where is it? It's like, no, I just watched the little guy go run off and ba-ding, got the thing. Awesome.
Let me tell you
Move on with
something. I've played so many games. In every fucking game where there's an option, pay $10 extra to get a little doggy. I love my dogs. I will get my little doggy. I will get my little doggy. I will make a little dog, a little brown doggy, and name it Lumen off of my little dog that's cinnamon colored, named Lumen. I will get a little white doggy with patches and name it fucking. Just Lumen and Isabel. They're my little doggies. I want. Yeah, and I know I can't have a pack, a little dog. I can't be a little fucking pack leader, but like, let me just have one. Let me have a little Lumen or a little Izzy. Let me pay money on the store to swap them. Let me trade. I could just have one up at a time. Today I'll be running with Lumen. Tomorrow I'll be running with Izzy. Let me have my little doggies. What do you think, Wolf? Sword? What do you think, Ark?
I don't know. If I'm getting a pet, I want to go. I want to be a hunter and like in WoW. Give me a new class.
That's a whole other thing. That's huntards. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. I get it, and maybe that's a thing down the line that could be a thing. But yeah. All right. What do you think, Sword? What do you think, Wolf? Shit, Sword. I've been drinking too much.
He did it again.
Yeah.
So, I would especially like that. I've been running Great Cleave the entire show, and just when those bags drop in Katara Falls, it's about a 50-50 chance whether you're picking up the bag or 10 things of water.
Yeah, water. Every time you go to get either a bag off of something you just killed or one of the chests in Katara Falls because it's underwater, half the time you're just picking up water and you're like, fuck me. Yes, absolutely. All right, so going around the horn, closing thoughts, anything that extra that you love, that you wanted to call out, that you don't like, whatever. Sword, start.
I'm loving the game. The only other thing I'd ask at the moment is, can we get a 5,000,000% damage buff to the musket? That'd really be great.
Wow. Okay, you don't want things to be out of balance or anything.
No,
Ark.
not at all.
Ark.
That's it, man. Just fix some of the skill trees and add one more ability on there. And I think that will. There's still some finicky things in the thing. Like, tell the boat. Like, I don't know if you play a boat. Like, the boat just plays horrible. It's just real buggy and doesn't respond very well. Those are the kind of fixes beyond the roadmap, and all the stuff that's coming out, obviously, which is good stuff. But those are the kind of fixes I want to see them do.
I'm shocked that you did not chime in to say that you very much want the PvP flagged only random treasures to pop up just as a thing. Encourage more open world.
I'm all for that, man. I'm all for that. I'm all for freaking the Baroness to finally get fixed to the way it works.
Oof.
Nice.
Yeah. You guys, you put effort into the the brutes. Let me tell you something. You needed to. Great, fantastic, huge salute. Please fix fucking Baron. Make it to where the person who does the last 1 hit point of damage doesn't get credit for Baron. When there's 10 blues killing Baron and 1 red shoots it from outside through the open doorway, I understand you guys fixed the ability to snipe it from the high vantage point, but there's still 2 open doorways that point right at Baron, and people now just stand out there and shoot it with powder burn shot and then just get it on the tick. There's nothing that feels worse than having 9 blues at Baron and seeing your own score locked out when there's no reds in the fucking circle because there's 1 sniper outside with powder burn. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah,
Wolf.
for sure.
Yeah, the fix the Baron. That's the only thing in OPR that just really is like, oh man, come on. Like OPR is so much more fun now, and like that's the one outlier to them just making it just so absolutely perfectly fun. I mean, OPR is always running now. I don't have to try and figure out, okay, when's a good time to do this. If I don't get this done, I can't get my ruby for the day, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's everybody wants to play it. Just that one little thing, and it would be fantastic.
Hell yeah. I feel bad because I called on Wolf and I feel like I cut off Ark. Ark, what was the thing you were going to say?
I was going to leave it just something in the mind for next week. I need to think about it more. But I think another big problem is this come from like my main dude is a bruiser. I don't think this game. I think this game would be a better place if they gave grit opportunity. I don't think it can be locked behind strength, man. I think grit is probably the strongest skill in the game. I think they tried to put some perks that would help, debuff people with grit, but it just doesn't work. And it's just one of the most annoying things. It's going to be in a 3v3. It's here. It's the Zerg train stuff. Like, as long as you can stun people and you could just keep swinging through anything else, and it's only on this one set of weapons, the majority of the player base is going to use those weapons.
Let's think it through. Since grit only comes at the 300 level, what if they were to give an additional thing to strength users, an additional bonus to strength users at 300 grit, say, something with extra crit or something with whatever, and then also take to the 300 of int, to the 300 of dex, to the 300 of focus, because you already have a bonus to int and dex and focus at 300. What if they were to add a specialized bonus to strength users at 300 of like crit or whatever, and then just say we're adding grit to int, dex, focus at 300. So if you spend 300 fucking points on one skill, int, dex, strength, focus, you should have grit. What if they were to do that? What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a couple things they could do. I mean, that might be one. The problem is, like, some of the 300 bonuses aren't that good either. Only real niche situations. I think you could do this. You just put it. You get 3 swings, right? All light attack combos are 3, and a heavy is about about as much time, maybe a little bit faster. But you just put like a 4 or 5 second cooldown on it. And then the other thing you need to do is you cannot, unless you have 3 pieces of freedom gear on, which is impossible to find if you want to have all your other perks maxed out, you can't get freaking, like, there's too many stun lock builds. Like the sword and shield spear right now, like that's the nastiest new kind of meta. It's a complete stun lock build. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah,
they should do more like
good.
You can use stamina to break. So basically, you can use stamina to break a stun, but then if you get stunned with no stamina, you're stuck in the stun. That's how they should do it. That's a much better system. It makes you rely, play a little smarter. And it doesn't just totally screw you. Because right now, all you got is these. I mean, you guys have seen it play recently. All you got is these light hammer axe dudes or light sword shield spear, and they just charge everybody. And if you're a ranged player, you're just running backwards most of the time.
Well, I guarantee you that's not all you're going to have soon, because very soon you're going to see half the players in this fucking game are going to be hammer blunderbuss, and it's going to be, I grappling hook you to the face and shoot 30 yards into your face in the back line, and then hammer stun, me and my 5 friends, and then y'all dead. But you're definitely onto something. I don't know if it's that easy of just saying just do this, like, but I think that it's definitely worthwhile as a thought process, and I think that they now have a robust system with the PTR of put it out there, like figure it out internally, test it, QA, okay, but then put it out there and let the player base play with it and see, like, does this work? Is this overpowered? How does this change? How does whatever? And finesse it here and there and make it work. But I think you're absolutely right that something needs to change. I don't know exactly on what, I don't claim to be knowledgeable enough to know that what is the right fix, but something should change, and they're at a point now where they have a PTR system that allows them to test it out. So that's it for everybody. They've given you their closing thoughts. I don't have any closing thoughts. You've listened to me fucking enough today. So enjoy the show, I hope. Enjoy the game. Probably not this week, but if it goes super fast, I have to wait on like Apple to validate or whatever. Depending on how long they take to do all that bullshit, Apple and Spotify and whatever, this show will be on podcast form, so you can listen to it in the car or whatever within the next 1 to 3 weeks. I have no clue unless they go super late, but I think like 1 to 3 weeks should be enough. I love you guys all, and we'll see you next week on New World Aeternum Weekly.